Hello guys and girls, welcome to the Be More podcast. This is Jack Williams and this is a topic that I've been wanting to talk about for a very, very long time. And this is going to be the most eye-opening podcast yet, the biggest eyebrow raiser for sure. I think it's going to get a lot of people really, really thinking. So basically, I always like to go through my own experiences. And by the way, that's where you learn the most. Like, I've read some amazing books, I've been around some incredible people and they've helped teach me so many things. But most of my learning has come from doing. It's come from my actions, come from what I've done in my life. That's where I've learned most. And a lot of it, by the way, I haven't learned the most in the success. I've learned the most in the failure and in doing things wrong. So, and by the way, that's all you take from this podcast, and it's probably been a productive listening for you, because it will encourage you to go and try and do more things and embrace failing more often. Change your relationship with failing, because often that's where you learn. So just go and get into action, go and do and try more things and fail more, because that's where you'll learn. Like a lot of kids, when you have a baby and you teach them to walk, when they fall over, you don't say, "Oh, stop now, don't try it again." You encourage them to get back up and go again. It's the same as we become adults, we become really fearful of trying different things. And as a result, we then don't go and pursue things over and over again with persistence to create the results and obviously transform the way we do things in our learning. And insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result. So this basically takes me back to when I first really got into body transformations. Like when I was a PT, I spent probably, and this is really, really interesting, because this is actually in itself is really good, because I qualified as a personal trainer, and in that qualification, there was only a really small amount of time spent on nutrition. Really, really small. So I qualified as a PT and was then working in a gym for probably about 6 months or so, maybe even a year, just really training people in the gym and helping them have a better workout. But there wasn't a massive attention on nutrition, just because it wasn't in my course. And I was really early to the industry. I didn't really understand the power of nutrition. But then basically, as I became more and more studious, more and more curious, I wanted to learn more about how to get the most out of my training and how to get the best possible results. And what I found from becoming curious and asking a lot of questions and from people that were higher in the industry and learning a lot, what I found was nutrition was the most important thing. It was 80% nutrition, 20% workout. And I thought, wow, this is really interesting. So what I did was I paid for some different coaches to basically send me a nutrition plan of such. Because I was happy with what I was doing in the gym. Some of these PTs sent me training plans as well. And I just basically became like someone who wanted to learn by doing. So I bought different plans, I tried different things, and I worked with maybe 7, 8 different coaches. And all of those plans, by the way, gave me a result of such. They all had a slightly different approach, but the basics and the principles from them all were very, very similar. It was very much bro diet. This was like 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago. So a lot of it was very much chicken, broccoli, rice, many times a day, which I didn't mind at the time. I liked eating that type of food, but it was very repetitive. And then it was the same kind of workouts, but just different rep ranges here and there. And all of those things created a result for me. But every single different plan that I did, I found myself yo-yoing. So I spent 4 years probably just yo-yoing, in and out of shape. Training was always constant. Like I've never stopped training since I've got into it, maybe 10 years ago. Training for me isn't for the physiological results, it's more for the psychological results. I go because of how it makes me feel mentally, and it's like my meditation, if you like. So training has always been consistent. I always work hard in the gym, and that variable has never really changed. The thing that always has changed and evolved has been my nutrition. And through the journey, I've learned more and more about what works for me, and also what works best for other people. And I tried all these different, that basically it's a glorified way of calling it a calorie deficit, right? All these different types of diets. And And basically, they all worked for me because I was consistent and I followed them. But there was always a trade-off on all these different things that I tried, whether it be carb cycling. All of them pretty much involved using MyFitnessPal. So I spent probably 4 years tracking my calories on MyFitnessPal. More or less every day. Like, I had a ridiculous run. You can get a streak on MyFitnessPal of how many days you do it in a row, and it was ridiculous. Like, it was even tracking it on Christmas Day. Like, it was so obsessive. But this is what I felt like I needed to do in order to get a result. And it created, through time for me, a really, really difficult relationship with food. I learned so much in doing it. And this isn't me slagging off MyFitnessPal. And by the way, this isn't me even slagging off the fitness industry, because it's like any industry. There are good and there are bad. Like, if you go into a plumbing industry, there are some crap plumbers. There are also some really good ones. You go into any industry, you will find good and you will find bad. And in the fitness industry, I found there to be quite a lot of things that were often not shared, and still aren't shared much today either, which is why I want to make this podcast, just to really help people become more aware of what some of the trade-offs are of when you see a transformation on Instagram of someone who's got results in an 8-week period. The question I would ask is, what does that person in that after photo look like 1 week later? Because normally it's not like the photo and the after photo. And this is what I found by being in the industry. I would see all these before and afters and be like, wow, this must be a really good PT. So then I would get a plan from them. I would explore it. Even though I was a PT, I was really looking to learn about, one, how I could get better results myself, but two, how I could then teach my clients to do the same. So I basically saw the person who was sharing the most results, and I was like, wow, this looks good. I'm going to follow this person's plan, but I'm also going to follow the client on Instagram and see what they do. And 99% of times, the person who had the results within a week or so didn't have those results anymore. You could see it in their, like, just in their face alone, they become puffy. You could see mentally they were going through challenges post-diet. And this is crazy that it's even called a diet, because it shouldn't even be called that. We live in a time whereby if you're eating healthy, people call it a diet, which is just ridiculous, right? Everyone should be eating healthily, but we live in a world where everyone eats so much shit that if you're eating healthy, people call it a diet. It's ridiculous. But most people who I found in this space, in the fitness industry space, who were following these 8-week diets, these 12-week diets, or whatever you call them, they were, at the end of that 12 weeks, eating everything that they didn't eat in those 12 weeks, and then losing all of their results from those 12 weeks of hard work within 12 days. And for me, I was like, this is just really weird. But I was immersed in it so much that I didn't really switch on to it. And I was still young. I was just like, oh, just the way it is. Maybe these people aren't consistent enough post-diet or whatever. But then I decided that, look, I want to maybe do a photo shoot. I want to try and challenge myself. And I see people competing on stage. Maybe I could do that. Like, I was really scared to do anything like that and get on stage and have people look at me. But I actually thought to myself, this is how I think insecure I was at the time. I thought to myself, if I do that, it will make me get more clients. If I can go on stage and win a show, it will help me increase the credibility of my business. If I do that, it will help me to have more confidence. This is what I told myself. Whereas now I know that, in fact, I can have all those things now without having to do those things. But this is just where I was in my life. I was really low in confidence. I was really insecure. And I thought, if I do these things that I can see people doing on social media and getting loads of likes for, maybe that'll then increase my own confidence and credibility as a personal trainer. So I went in and I did a photo shoot. And I found that I did what all these people were doing that I was watching. I basically followed a really strict diet. The first one I followed was a meal plan, and it was literally the same food more or less every day for like 8 weeks or whatever. And the first few weeks I liked it because I was getting really good results. I could see the progress, but then through time I was like, this is really, really weird. I can only eat certain food. Like, I noticed how it really isolated me. Like, I was still living with my parents at this point. I couldn't eat with them. I had to eat on my own. I had to prep meals. They were often asking me, "I'll just eat this, you'll be fine." And I really found it really isolated me by following it. But I knew that if I set myself out to do something, I was going to execute and I was going to complete it. And I've always been that way. So I did the 8 weeks, and I got results. I did a photo shoot, got a load of likes, but it didn't give me the feeling I thought it was going to give me. It didn't give me that confidence. It didn't give me that validation. It didn't give me that credibility, really. But what it did do was it actually brought even more insecurities. And what I did at the end of that photo shoot, I walked out of that photo shoot, I walked into the nearest Krispy Kreme, and I ate 12 donuts, non-stop. Like, it's not even possible to do for a normal human being, I think. It's so sweet, so high in calories, but I just didn't have the ability to stop eating. Like, I basically deprived myself of so many nutrients chronically for such a long period of time, like over a 2-3 month period, that my body's hormonal processes was not working in the right way. So I just couldn't stop eating. I'd left Krispy Kremes and I'd go and eat a curry and I'd go and eat a pizza and I'd go and eat a burger and I'd be like 10,000 calories later within a day. So I gained back all this water weight. I was super sluggish, super unhealthy, and I thought, what am I doing? Like, what? This isn't health. This isn't what I'm trying to like portray to other people. This isn't what I imagined. But I shared the photos on social media, and I don't know what happened, but I was like, maybe I'm going to do it again. And I went back into the cycle. But I did go probably 2-3 weeks, by the way, of binge eating and feeling crap about myself. And I needed another diet to be able to get back on track, and another goal to be able to motivate me to go again, to be able to be back to not being a binger. Because basically I developed, it was probably a borderline eating disorder. In fact, it probably was an eating disorder. And I'm happy to be transparent in clearing this, in speaking of it in this way, because I know so many people struggle with it, and especially in the industry, in general. I think people in every industry, because of what they see on social media, they're then falling into this trap and this bad relationship with food. And then basically I needed another point, an extrinsic motivation to motivate me to go again. So I went on to a new diet, different photo shoot, different photographer. My goal was to get in better shape than for the last photo shoot. And I did it. I got in better shape. This time it was a slightly different diet. Maybe I had 2 or 3 different days to follow in a week, but it was still the same foods pretty much all over it again. And by the time I got leaner, by the way, the leaner I got, the more my energy levels were just flat as, like, if you've got a packet of batteries in a TV remote, you're having to smash the remote to get it to work, and you're banging it against your hand because the remote's not working. That was my body. I couldn't get up the stairs without being out of breath. I struggled in my workouts. I had no enthusiasm for anything, really. I just struggled. But this was the last few weeks before the shoot, and I thought, it's just worth it. I've got to go through this pain because this is what it takes to be lean. When in reality, it just was just not the right way to go. So I did another shoot, got better results, shared the photos, got these likes or whatever, got this fake validation. And then the same thing happened again. I'd go and lose the results within 3 or 4 days, be bloated as the Lord, like massively bloated, felt terrible, and would inevitably, within a few weeks of binging and escaping into food, because psychologically I wasn't in a good place. And this is where most people who are doing this type of thing over and over again are, from my experience of speaking to lots of people in the fitness space. That's basically what most people did. So it became the norm. And I was like, right, I'm gonna bulk now for a few months, and I'm just gonna basically use that as an excuse to put on a load of weight, try and get stronger. But in reality, I didn't get that much stronger. I just got a lot fatter. And then I would be like, right, now I'm gonna cut again. And this is what most of people do. They do these bulks and they do these cuts and they do these bulks and they do these cuts. And often the bulk isn't really on purpose. It's just what happens because of the price of what the cut has demanded on the body, that it then goes and asks for all these different nutrients non-stop for a long period of time. So this is basically was a cycle that I went through for 4 years, and I also did a couple of men's physique competitions. One of them was via a coach with a meal plan, where I was also using performance enhancers as well, simply through, again, massive insecurity. Like, now I look back, I'm like, why did I even do that? Why did I pay all that money to use things that I definitely don't agree with? And that looking back, it makes me really cringe that I was even to do that. But I wanted to win so much because what I thought it would do for me, but it didn't do anything for me. So it just literally ruined my body for so long. So if you know anyone, by the way, going through all this, please share this with them. Because this was a dark time in my life, like a really dark time in my life. And I remember, because I was able to get these results and share these photos and stuff, it attracted business. It attracted quite a lot of business. Like I had a lot of clients, both online and in person as a personal trainer. I was always busy. And all of my clients, by the way, did the same. They all did the same. They all did these short-term 12-week diets or whatever, 8-week diets where they would get these amazing results. We'd celebrate them like crazy, but 8 days later they couldn't sustain it. And it made me feel terrible because I was seeing these people's faces when they'd come into the gym for a workout, and I could tell that they was really struggling with the nutrition side of things because of how unsustainable the plans were, how unsustainable the diets were, and how little nutritional value they had in them. Because all that matters is a calorie deficit. Just be in a calorie deficit, just be in a calorie deficit. And it was all about calorie deficit, which is what the whole industry raves about. All you need is a calorie deficit. And I saw this for so long. It was all I ever pitched to my clients, just calorie deficit. Keep tracking, keep on track, calorie deficit. Doesn't matter what you're eating, calorie deficit. As long as you have enough protein, calorie deficit. And that was the language for the whole time that I was getting people results in that space. But what I didn't understand was that, yes, calorie deficit works. I'm not denying that. And this is science, right? This is thermodynamics. What comes in must go out, right? This is energy. It's just the reality, right? But it's not just about what calories. It's what's in those calories that matters. Are you giving your body what it needs? Are you actually thinking long term? Yes, there's a deficit to drop body fat, but are you giving your body enough fiber? Are you giving your body enough micronutrients? Are you looking at how many vitamins and minerals your client is getting or I was getting? Because I wasn't. And I was deprived of all these different things. And as a result, my body was massively deprived of it. Consistency meant I could follow it, but the trade-off was zero energy. The trade-off was, or a massive lack of energy, shall I say, compared to how I feel now. But I didn't know this. You don't know what you don't know. Another trade-off was zero sex drive. A massive trade-off is a massive drop in testosterone, natural testosterone, right? And another trade-off, especially for females, and there's so many in this space who are going through these severe calorie deficits with no understanding of how much nutrition they're actually getting. They're just worried about the number of calories. They're just worried about the number of calories and protein. That's all they're worried about. And probably cutting carbs or whatever. But there's no concern for fiber. There's no concern for all of the vitamins and minerals that our body needs. It's all about the number of deficit, how much weight you're losing, how do your photos look. And as a result, most women who do these diets don't have periods for months. Months and months and months and months. And it's so unhealthy. Massive alarm signals. But then when the client comes up to the coach and says this, they're like, it's just part of the process. They don't fucking understand it. They don't get it. Sorry about my language, by the way, but you can tell I'm really passionate about this now. It's something it's a massive mission of mine to help people to overcome these challenges and overcome this ignorance in the industry towards big matters like this. And yeah, this is basically what I saw. And it even happened to loads of my own clients that I saw, and I was like, this is not healthy. This is not an industry that I actually like being a part of. There must be a better way. If not, I don't want to do this anymore. And that's basically where I went through over a 5-year period. I even came back with I went traveling, came back into the PT world with a different kind of headspace and mindset and perspective of life, if you like. And I was like, I'm going to do another competition, but I'm going to do it in a better way this time. And I'm going to, rather than following a really strict meal plan, I'm just going to track my calories. Did it again. I think I come second or third or whatever. But the same thing happened because it was the same ignorance. It was just still calories, protein, no understanding of what actual nutrients I'm getting into my body. Am I getting enough vitamin D? Am I getting enough vitamin A? All these different things. Am I getting enough B vitamins? All these different things. How are my hormones? I wasn't looking at any of this. How are my bloods? didn't understand this stuff. Most of the industry doesn't. They're just literally preaching from a few particular people who are in the industry saying, all you need to worry about is this. You don't need to worry about these supplements. They're crap. They're just trying to sell you something. And it's so ignorant, and it's basically all coming from, they're claiming it's research and stuff, and it's research that's actually provided. If you look at who creates the research, then it will give you the answer to all of these problems, right? It's so bad. But it takes someone to actually go through it to then come out the other side. And I basically spent the whole 5 years literally being like, no, you don't need to use Herbalife. No shake diets, no meal replacements, just eat real food. But by doing this for 5 years and just eating the real food and going through the challenges that I went through of yo-yoing and the mental impact that it had on me, like the psychological impact was really severe, really, really severe. My relationship with food was so bad, but I was still so strong on it because it was all I knew. And then when I basically went to go and meet Kev about Herbalife, I didn't meet him about Herbalife in the first place. I actually had this podcast, that I interviewed him on because I wanted to interview successful people and share their inspiration with people, because I wanted to help people. But I didn't know that I could do that in that space anymore. I honestly didn't. So I was looking for other things, which is why I was looking into property and things like that, because I was like, I don't know if I can keep doing this anymore. There's aspects to the industry that I do really like. I like working with people. I like helping people. But is my current method really helping people, or is it actually causing more trouble than it is results? And it wasn't just results, but it was long-term sustainable results. Which, if you're looking in, by the way, this is something to look for when you're looking at someone who's sharing lots of before and afters, is that person's result built on good, sustainable, healthy habits that they're going to create long-term results, or is it just a short-term testimonial? Because this is what I found was always the case, most of the time was the case, was that person couldn't hold that result 3 or 4 weeks later. They would then go back to their old ways because it was so unsustainable, and their body was crying out for more nutrition. It was crying out for nutrients. And as a result, you go into this binge streak, which then does all sorts of things to your psychological state. And by the way, for people that aren't in the fitness space or have never done any of these things before, they'll probably be like, whoa, this is really intense. But this is what happens, right? And this is what led me to becoming more open-minded and wanting to look at other things. And I went and met Kev that day, and he just looked so healthy. I think at the time he was 40, and at the time I was 26, and he looked younger than me. Like, no doubt, he looked younger than me. His skin was better. He was he was just a vibrant person, full of energy, really positive. And I walked in and I wasn't. I wanted to be, but I wasn't. And I was really tired. I remember he offered me a shake and I was like, is that Herbalife? Like, skeptical Jack. And he was like, yeah, it is. And I tried it and it made me feel great, right, having that shake in the tea. But I was so ego-driven, closed-minded, and it was embarrassing looking back, really. But this guy in front of me was helping me, and he was just so healthy looking. And he would tell me about all these people that he was helping get results. And I was like, yeah, but surely they're not keeping the results, because of what I was seeing myself. And he was like, yeah, basically it's just where it's so easy. It's just that someone has this for their breakfast. We help them with protein-based snacks that are enjoyable. But it's just really balanced. It's really laid back. And it's all about just being healthy. And I was like, whoa, this is so different to the space that I'm in right now, where it's all really intense. You've got to hit every number to the literally. If it's 180 grams of protein a day, it's 180. Don't hit 170, hit 180, right? Whereas this was so relaxed, it was so refreshing, it was so chilled, and I was like, this is so different. And then he told me about his friend who's a heating engineer, who was doing Herbalife part-time, but was helping 200 people to get results. Showed me his results, and they were unbelievable, and showed me the results that he was getting other people. And I was like, so this bloke isn't even a PT? He was like, no, he's a heating engineer. I was like, what does he know about this then? He goes, oh, he just uses the products. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, well, I met him in a Tesco. I told him about what we do, and he got on the products. I helped him get good results. It was really basic and simple. The plan was fun, simple, magical, which is Herbalife strapline. And through getting those results, he's taught other people to do the same. I was like, was that it? And he was like, yeah, that's it. And he goes, we've got loads of people in our community, all over the world actually, doing this. This is Herbalife. And I was like, wow, this is so different. But I was so skeptical and so closed-minded that I didn't even pursue it after that meeting. Even though it inspired me, I was like, Kev, it was great to meet you. I'm going to share the podcast. Stay in touch. And a few weeks went by, right? And it wasn't for Kev following up with me and being like, do you want to grab a coffee? And I was like, he caught me on a day where I'd had a bad day and I just was struggling with things in my life. And I was like, yeah, I could do with a coffee. I could do with speaking to someone positive. And I went and met him for a coffee and he was like, look, I've got some products in the boot of my car. Why don't you give this a try? And I did. I was like, yeah, all right, I'll do it. I was like, I'm not selling it. I just want to try it for myself. I'm not going to promote it. I just want to try it for myself. And he was like, look, I'm not saying promote it. Just go and use it. Feel the benefits. And if you do like it, we can have a chat because you'd be brilliant at this. And I could tell you're looking for something better. And I was like, he's right, but I don't want him to be right. And then I've got on the products and the rest is history. I think I've really shared that in other episodes. But what it did do was it helped me feel healthy. And that's something that I struggled with for the whole 5 years, was I never really had energy. And then do you know what the best thing is I've got into shape now to a point whereby I'm probably nearly as lean as I used to get when I used to do photo shoots, or maybe even as lean as I was when I used to compete on stage, but I'm like it all the time. I'm like it all year round, and it's effortless. I don't even have to think about my diet. I don't have to think about my energy levels. I'm bouncing out of bed in the morning. I'm non-stop moving all day. I'm literally fidgeting while I'm on this podcast now. My legs are moving. I'm ready to go for a walk or something because I don't like sitting down for too long. But my energy levels are through the roof. And I've been in a calorie deficit for a long time, probably because that's how I like to feel. I don't like overfeeding myself and having to digest it and feel sluggish. I like eating little and often. And yes, I've still got a protein-based diet. Yes, it's still a calorie deficit. It just consists of looking after my body now. It just consists of nutrients that are loaded with nutrients, products that are loaded with nutrients, foods that are loaded with nutrients, that look after my body, look after my health, is sustainable, has longevity. And I've never felt the ability to, I never could do this before. I could never do this before, which is why I'm so passionate about Herbalife. And what I went through after about 5-6 months of doing this part-time, my first 5-6 months, I started to feel these benefits. And I was like, wow, I feel so much better. My digestion's better. My skin looks clearer. My energy levels are better. And then I was still doing the PT stuff. And some of my clients didn't want to do Herbalife because of what I said about it before. They didn't trust me. They were like, no, you said it was rubbish before, so I think you're just doing it for whatever reasons. I was like, no worries, just keep doing what you're doing. And they did the same things, whereas they saw the people that had said yes to me about Herbalife getting better results, getting health results, looking more vibrant, skin looking better, looking healthier, having more energy, smashing their workouts rather than just getting through them. And I basically was like, do you know what? I'm done. I'm done with this industry. I'm done with being a PT. I want to do Herbalife full time. This is what I believe in. This is where my mission is. And it wasn't even about the money. It wasn't even about the money. Because I was making good hourly rate. I was charging like £45 an hour. And I had 30 clients a week in my diary. And I stopped them all. I could have kept doing them. Easily could have kept doing them, right? But I stopped them all. So I don't know what that is. It's that over £1,000 a week that I threw away, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore because I don't believe in that as a way for people to get results sustainably. I believe in this now. I believe in helping people with a better nutritional approach where they can have a healthy, active lifestyle. Of course, if they want to smash the gym, they can smash the gym. I can help them with bits here and there. But it's about helping that person become independent with their health habits and building these habits themselves whilst having that support and that community to help them with conquering their nutrition habits, building long lifestyle habits and getting the best possible results and enjoying it. That's the main thing, enjoying the process and the journey, because life is so short to go through. And I went through almost 5 years of hardship doing it the way I was doing it before. So yeah, I hope that's brought some value. Like, I just wanted to almost pour my heart out and share the honest truths of my experience and my journey in the fitness space as a personal trainer, why I've come out of it. And by the way, I'm not saying to anyone not to become a PT or whatever. That, like I said before, there are some amazing people in the industry, and I have good friends who are personal trainers who I have the utmost respect for, who are doing it the right way. But what I do find often, time and time again, are people that aren't doing it the right way, have very little understanding, and as a result are encouraging more and more people to go through this route. And they have this, but basically what I will say is anyone who has and shares a negative attitude towards anything that they haven't tried themselves or they don't truly understand, I would have warning signs around them. Because I had these negative opinions towards Herbalife before. Massive warning signs around me though, big time. I wouldn't have come and worked with me then, even though I was telling you to, because it would have been yo-yo results. So anyone saying this to you, saying you don't need supplements, the next person you see write this as a PT, you don't need supplements, you just need a calorie deficit. Just be careful. Just be very careful, because yes, the calorie deficit works, but what's the price if you're not giving your body what it needs in the process? It's just going to be an unsustainable approach. You're not going to give your body what it needs. You're going to be getting results temporarily, and it's just a cycle where you're going to be looking for the next best thing. So yeah, be careful, guys. There are good people in this industry, but there are also people that don't quite understand the best ways to get results just yet. And a lot of it is ego driven. So I feel very blessed, very grateful for all the learnings that I've had, and to now be in a position where I am just building a mission. My life is all mission empowered, really, to help more people to simplify their nutrition, to do things in a fun, simple way that gets them the best possible results that they can sustain long term. That's the key. And a lot of people, I think for me, it's educating people around understanding of really what our products do and why they're not just a 21-day challenge and then you stop using them, because of course then that is unsustainable. It's more of a lifestyle approach, and that's what I've been able to find here in Herbalife 4 years on. And I'll be using these products 40 years on, 50 years on, for as long as I can. And they're getting better every single year, and I'm just super excited for the future. So if this has sparked any of your imaginations and you want to have a conversation or whatever, you may even be already in Herbalife and you're hearing this because someone recommended it to you. If you've got value from it, please do share it. I want to help more and more people to understand what I've been through almost and what my learnings have been in the journey, whether it gives you more confidence or allows you to make better decisions going forward with your own nutrition or anything that you're doing. And it's the same, by the way, with most industries. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors, but find the people who have the results that you want, genuine, authentic, long-term results, and they'll be the best people to teach you with regards to the journey you should take. So, please do share this. Please do leave a review if you haven't already on iTunes on this podcast. That would be amazing. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do that, because I'm going to be trying my best to bring lots more value in the up and coming future, and just share the truth, just share honesty, what's worked for me, what hasn't worked for me, in not just in nutrition, but in entrepreneurship, in business, in life, in everything really. And I will as well. One of my missions is to get people on and interview them as well, to try and add value to you from other people's perspectives, other people's stories, to try and give you as much value as possible to get the best possible results, and for you to be more, do more, have more, and all that good stuff, guys. So yes, happy Tuesday, or whatever day you're listening to this on. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll be back very, very soon. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.